What up, people? Welcome to episode 100 of the Salty Thoughts of Mike Steph podcast, featuring the one and only Mike Steph, best in the world at what he does. Yes. And once again, for this week, and maybe for the foreseeable future, Mike Steph, aka Slippin' Jimmy. Those who know, know. Those who don't try to figure it out. Anyway, this should be a monumentous occasion. I should be in such a celebratory mood, being the fact that this is episode 100, episode 100, episode 100, episode century, episode what have you. And trust me, on the inside, I actually am busting out with joy. I am like just dancing to the ceiling. Oh, what a feeling. On the inside. On the outside, I'll be blunt. I'm very tired. I'm desperately in need of my Sunday nap, even though it's about 10:03 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Well, actually not Eastern Standard Time. Still, we're in daylight savings, but are we? Yeah, I think. Yeah, whatever. I know summertime. Summertime. Yeah, I'm just in a singing mood today. So, without further ado, I'm going to let you know what's on tap this week, what's on tap on this monumentous 100th episode. There will not be any special guests. There will not be any flashbacks. There will not be any special segments. You know why? I'll tell you why. It's football season. And those who follow football know there's one saying that they have when the individual scores a touchdown, when the individual breaks the goal, breaks the plane of the goal line, when the individual enters the end zone, it's act like you've been there before. And in a roundabout way, yes, Mike Steph in this podcast, matter of fact, this podcast, the Salty Thoughts podcast, has been there before. And you're probably wondering, like, that don't make any sense. Listen, this podcast is a continuation of the initial podcast, which was the Salty Thoughts of Donnie O. When I changed the name and when I became a YouTube entity, not a YouTube broadcaster, not a streamer, just a podcaster who's deciding to actually give you, the fans out there, you, the public out there, you, the masses out there, a great view of what was hiding behind audio only all those years. Also, being the fact it's Salty Thoughts of Mike Steph, figured, add a little something to it, right? It's not going to be long-winded because I'm going to really get to topics at hand. So, when this is Salty Thoughts of Donnie Oo, I stopped being under that moniker episode 150. Check the archives. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Anchor.fm, Amazon, all those. Wherever podcasts are available, my archives are still there, right? Episode 150 was the end of Donnie Oo. The beginning of Mike Steph technically was episode 151, but episode 1 of the Salty Thoughts of Mike Steph. A new beginning, a new beginning, a new beginning, a new beginning, right? So this episode celebrates my 100th episode, full length, full fledged podcast, full fledged episode on the mothership, the flagship, if you will, of the Salty Thoughts of Mike Steph podcast. Episode 250 in totality, episode 100 of Mike Steph. Yeah, I know. It would not be me if I didn't make things that should be so simple, so complicated. But I'm not the one. I'm not the only one who makes things so complicated. Hence, my topics of discussion this week. I will start off by my New York Jets and their embarrassing loss this afternoon, Sunday afternoon to be exact, against their division nemesis, their division foe. I can't even say rival because it's been a long time since we really had their number. But most of the time we played them good at home. Well, guess what? This year, this game was not one of those times. We got embarrassed pretty much from beginning to end. They just lost to the Buffalo Bills 30-10. And tell you the truth, it wasn't even that close. So I'll give my quick thoughts, my quick salty thoughts on that. Then to give equal time, equal billing to our comrades, our fellow comrades, our fellow tenants in MetLife Stadium, the New York Giants, the G-Men. Yes. After an embarrassing opening season loss in nation's capital in Washington, D.C. against those Commanders, they stayed inside the division. And they went down to Dallas, the Big D, if you will, the Big D. And for a large part of this game, they were giving Dallas the Big D until they end up taking the Big D themselves. New York, the New York Giants, the New York G-Men lost a thriller, a shootout of a game against the Dallas Cowboys, 40-37, and a game they probably should have won, a game that they have heroics out the ass, a game that they actually, if this was another week, I would say, the title of this episode would be Let Russ Cook, because Russ was cooking. Over 450 yards passing. But Russ being Russ made that one fatal flaw, one fatal error at the end, in overtime. So, yeah, I would talk about that. Then, in the third iteration, the third edition of Smitty's Corner, yes, that's right, Smitty's Corner. Matter of fact, I'm going to give you a little taste. No, I'm not. I'm going to make you wait for it. Smitty's Corner, we'll be talking about 5 minutes. 5 minutes. I mean, listen, I understand it's your podcast. I understand that you're a Jets fan. You proclaim to be a Mets fan. I understand that it's wrestling, and more wrestling. Politics. Eric Adams, Mayor Benson. But can we get 5? Can we get 5 minutes, at least 5 minutes, dedicated to the New York Metropolitans? Yeah, we can get 5 minutes devoted to the New York Metropolitans. You know what else we can get? Besides me getting a new headphone, because I guess this is like, dude, 100 episodes. Matter of fact, 250 total. Don't you think you need an extra? Don't you think you need something extra? Something new? Brand new? Don't you think you should spoil yourself for some new headphones? Yeah, I could. But guess what? I spoiled myself with a red velvet cheesecake instead. How about that? But anyway, back to Smitty's Corner. Yes, the New York Metropolitans will be talked about on this episode. And even though I heard in the group chat, I don't understand why. It seems like every time Smitty's Corner, it's never a triumphant, it's never a happy place in Smitty's Corner. No. And tell you the truth, even though this week they won, guess what? It will not be a happy place, a safe space, if you will, in Smitty's Corner, because I got an image. Matter of fact, I got 2 images. Matter of fact, I got a little clip to introduce Smitty's Corner to the masses. That's my laugh, not Smitty's. Yeah. And last but not least, because, wrestling, and even more wrestling. I'm not a wrestling fan, so, listen, I like to support. But as soon as you start talking WWE, I get out of here. I exit stage left. The WWE will be on front and center with the announcement that they made this past week concerning the location of WrestleMania 43. Yes, WrestleMania 43, 2027. Everybody knows 2026 is going to return to the desert, return to Las Vegas, but WrestleMania 27 is actually going to be in the desert also. Just not going to be in the United States. No. Is it going to be in Canada? No. Is it going to be in North America? Hell no. It's going to be in Europe. Maybe they could get away with that. WrestleMania 43 will, in fact, emanate from the great kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Yes. So I'll give my quick thoughts on that. So it's a full-fledged episode. It's a jam-packed episode, but all because it's episode 100, you would think I would go big, right? I would go enormous, right? I would go gigantic when it comes to the size of this episode. No. I'm trying to keep this episode 90 minutes or less. Because I'm tired. And even though nobody in their right mind would take a cat nap at the time that I'm probably going to finish this episode, y'all don't know Mike Steph very well, do y'all? Yes. Mike Steph will take a nap at 11:30 at night and wake up 1 o'clock in the morning and act like, yes, the night has just begun. The night has just begun. Oh, it's stronger. I'm gone. Then it's fun. Tonight. Anyway. With all that being said, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to start this episode. So, without further ado, good night. Mwah! And goodbye. Bang!
Salty thoughts of Mike Steph, this marks a new beginning. Thanks for supporting a total reinvention. The soul is still here, but the vibe's a little different. Unpredictable, hide the kids and the women. Sports of all sorts, music mixed for living. Rep New York City, but hate the politicians. Always bring the heat, Steph baking in the kitchen. Big shout to y'all, I appreciate the listen. Donnie put the rest, but I'm still in the best. In the word of what I do, all y'all know the rest. I live it, I breathe it, I'm the whole definition. The pinnacle, the ultimate, I'm on a new mission. The salty thoughts of Mike Steph, featuring the one and only Mike Steph, the best in the world at what he does. Tap in.
My New York Jets were embarrassed, I say, by the Buffalo Bills in MetLife Stadium. As I said in the intro, the score did not reflect how much we lost this game by. Yes, the score says 30-10. Yes, I understand that. A late garbage touchdown by Tyrod Taylor to Jeremy Ruckert in the fourth quarter of garbage time. The Bills are already literally emptied their bench, so to speak. Just made it look a little bit more presentable. But 33 still would have been way better on paper than it actually looked in real life. You know, I'm not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. This episode, I mean, this week, I fooled myself into believing that the Jets had turned the corner. That what I saw in person last Sunday, in which I'm still recuperating voice wise, that what I saw in person last Sunday at Jet Life Stadium against the Pittsburgh Steelers was a harbinger of things to come, a sign of things to come, a sign of success that should be realized at the end of this season. Besides the great time that I had tailgating before and after, besides the great time I had with the group that I was with, both Steeler fans and Jets fans alike, I thought this was going to be just a stepping stone. But now I have to take a step back. Now I have to wonder, okay, especially with Pittsburgh shit in the bed this afternoon. Man, not shit in the bed, but showing the world who they truly are, showing the NFL world who they are. Aaron Rodgers to be the old, decrepit, washed-up quarterback that he truly is. I digress. Now I have to take a step back and wonder, are the Steelers any good? Did we lose to a team that just wasn't as good as we thought they were? And that's why we played them close? Everybody knows that Buffalo is a Super Bowl contender year in, year out. That Josh Allen is that dude. But listen, Josh Allen had a mundane game. He didn't have he didn't have a running touchdown nor a passing touchdown in this game. And yet they beat us by 20. The the disparity of how close we were to Buffalo compared to the the last minute 60-yard field goal that we lost to last week against the Steelers. And the Steelers, they lost 31-17 at home against the Seahawks, having Sam Darnold throw dime upon dime upon dime upon dime. What does that make us? Well, it makes us just like Justin Fields right now, on the ground trying to figure out where the hell we at. Now I'm watching this game, and listen, to be blunt, and I'm going to be truly transparent, especially on this platform that I call mine. I don't expect much this year from my New York Jets. I don't expect what I saw on the screen this year. There's going to be times that we're just going to be outclassed, but the lack of effort was glaring. This 40-some-odd yard touchdown run by James Cook, where you could literally see Brandon Stevens running at half speed. The missed tackle by Andre Cisco. And then he feigned injury by sitting on and thinking that he's injured. No, he was embarrassed. This is already week 2. These are 2 players that we brought in to supposedly, I won't say set a culture, no, but we brought in to at least be a stopgap while we instill the culture, while Aaron Glenn instills the culture. And this is the effort that they're giving. And these are veteran players. If we got rid of Xavier Gibson, next on the chopping block should be Michael Clemens. They should be warming up. Whoever is supposed to be backing up, Brandon Stevens, the rookie, the draft pick that we picked for the secondary, put him in the game, because right now at least he could get some experience. I hope there's an out clause at the end of this year that they can swallow that money and get rid of Stevens, because Stevens is what we thought he was. A piece of toast. But you know what killed me even more today? You know what killed me even more today? Watching this game, and we had the number one broadcasting team on CBS broadcasting the game, not because of us, but because of Josh Allen, right? We didn't even have them last week, but we had them this week. Whatever. So I was subjected to Jim Nantz and Tony Romo banter late in the first half because the game was pretty much, they already knew this game is done. Like literally, it was 13-0, and they're talking gibberish. They're having the type of conversation that you have when it's 40-0 in 5 minutes remaining in the game, and they talking like that midway through the second quarter. Like, come on. Like there was a part a time in the first half that they compared this game between the Jets and the Bills to a game between Alabama 5 years ago. Yes, the Crimson Tide of Alabama to Middle Tennessee State. Little Sisters of the Poor. And what killed me as a fan is the effort that was given. Can't even get mad at that commentary. That commentary was 100% accurate, at least what we showed on the field. What happened to the team that was there in week one? I have a lot of things, a lot of theories. One theory is this: there was so much personal animus between the members of the two teams, the Jets and the Steelers, that on both sides, they had that extra oomph to succeed. Aaron Rodgers had the chip on his shoulder to try to get back and try to prove everybody in Florham Park that they were wrong for jettisoning him away from the team. Justin Fields had that extra oomph against the Steelers for them choosing to ride with Russell Wilson, even when the wheels are coming off, even though Justin Fields had guided them to a 4-2 record and was playing mistake-free football. Aaron Glenn, his first ever game as a head coach in the league, had something to prove. This week, it's an interdivision game. It's at home. You're coming off a close 1-point loss, 2-point loss. You should be raring to go. But it was almost the opposite. It's almost like, listen, fait accompli. We're not winning. Now, the Jets defense, these last 2 weeks have been bad. We're averaging giving up 32 points a game. We gave up 34 in week one. We gave up 30 in week two. So that's 32 points a game, right? And it's been bad. This week was even bad. We gave up scores on the first 4 possessions of the Buffalo Bills. Touchdown, field goal, touchdown. 2 runs over 40 yards. One, the aforementioned 40-some-odd yard romp by James Cook, in which the effort was lacking. And another 40-plus yard run by Josh Allen himself. There was no presence against the run. I think James Cook had 21 carries for 130-some-odd yards. And like I said, the majority of that was in the first half. They had 146 yards on the ground in the first half. They had open receivers all half. Matter of fact, all game. Do you know in the first half, Justin Fields, this guy, he threw 4 times for 18 yards. He was 1 of 4 for 18 yards in the first half. The last drive of the game, last drive of the half, it's a microcosm of how this game went from Justin Fields. 2 straight plays, he had wide open receivers and missed them both. One play, he had Isaiah Davis in the flat. Davis could have run for like 25, 30 yards if the ball was thrown accurately. It wasn't. It was thrown late and inaccurate. Not only was it not a reception, it was a drop. On the next play, he had a pass to Mason Taylor over the middle. That was high and late, almost medicine ball like. Then he had a scramble for 27 yards, but when they had a chance to get some type of momentum, it was stopped by his inability to throw the ball on time and accurate. Any sustained success that we are going to have as a team and him as an individual will come. I'm not saying in the pocket. No, that's not what I'm saying. Throw the ball on time. Timing of the play is essential. You can map out and scheme all these type of plays, but if the timing is not correct, it's null and void. And when you have the timing down, then sometimes if you're a little bit not as accurate as you would like to be, the timing is there, gives the receiver a chance to adjust. But if you're late and you're inaccurate, you're going to land a lot of these receivers in the ER. Not even for games. We're just getting blown up. Like that last year. So, man. We were just a week removed from this marvelous game they played against Pittsburgh. 16-22, 218 yards, 1 touchdown, 48 yards running on 12 plays. Oh, it was great. Do you know that he was just 3 for 11, 27 yards, a lost fumble, and 2 sacks before he was knocked out the game due to concussion protocol? Remember what I talked about and told you about this dude, safety Cisco? He missed a tackle on Elijah Moore's TD run in the fourth quarter. Elijah Moore is a cocksucker. Yes. Not to get off track, but Elijah Moore, dude, you've been in the league, 5 years, right? Let's say 5 seasons, 6 seasons, right? You forced your way off the Jets. The Bills are your third team? Your fourth team? What kind of success have you? Like, you still harboring some type of ill feelings against the Jets when none of the people that brought you on the team, none of the people that did wrong to you or did you bad are here anymore. But yet you're talking shit to the fans. You're doing backflips when y'all running out the clock and the victory formation. Class act. Really class act. But like I said, with Cisco, it wasn't even the fact you were trying to blow him up. You were just so out of position that you actually flung your body and tried to do an arm tackle. He made you look silly. And then you sat on the turf like you was hurt. No, I know what was hurt. I swear, if I don't see it on the injury report, bruised ego, I need to see that ASAP. Expeditiously, I need to see that. Bruised ego, Andre Cisco, 1 to 2 weeks, recovery time. Out for the game. That's what I need to see. 216 yards rushing we gave up. Do you know that's the most that they've given up since 2021? Do you know at one point in this game, the New York Jets were outgained by almost 300 yards of total offense, 396 to 106? Next week, we go against Tampa, in Tampa, first road game of the season. I'm not saying we're going to win. I swear, I should have started. I should have started this with a segment of Mike Steph must have bumped his mother effing head by having the Jets part of my round robin, and I had like a four-way parlay part of that round robin prop bets. I think the only one that covered was Justin Fields with rushing. Brees Hall, non-factor. Garrett Wilson, non-factor. What can you do? What can you do? What can you do? They didn't listen. Next week, are we going to be up? Are we going to be favored? No. We're going to be an underdog? Of course we are. We're going on the road. We just got smacked. We're 0-2. Got a rookie head coach. Probably going to have to go in with our backup quarterback who's like 30-something years old, like 35, 36, 37. But at the same time, see, this is the part that scares me. Scares me to love. Part of me wants to say, you know what? Even though I know it's not our future, if Justin Field is held out of this game and Tyrod Taylor gets the starting reps, maybe we can activate Garrett Wilson. Maybe we can activate Brees Hall. Maybe, just maybe, we could put some points on the board. Maybe, just maybe, we can actually play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers tight. But I'm afraid to love. I'm afraid to love. Look, second week in a row, I'm in my jet car. I haven't touched that flag since last week. Haven't touched it since last week. Didn't even touch it today. I was tempted to move it out the sight. I was like, no. I told you, that's going to be in the background all season long. Yes, it is. But will wins be in the season all season long? To be or not to be? That is the question. The G-Men. The G-Men. The G-Men lose. Heartbreaker versus Dallas Cowboys. What do you want me to say? Huh? Like, really, what do you want me to say? A for effort? Listen, I'm not gonna crack any jokes because listen, if I wish my team would have had that amount of offense this week. But at the same time, in a lot of ways, it's almost like mirror images of each other in a Black Mirror sort of way, right? Case in point, we, Gang Green, lost our season opener at home against the Pittsburgh Steelers in a heartbreaker by 2 points on a last-minute field goal. Then this week, we stepped it up a level, a competition, and we got our doors knocked off. Wasn't even competitive, right? Now, when you talk about Big Blue, the G-Men, week 1, they went down to the nation capital. They faced the Washington Commanders. Even though they lost 21-6, it wasn't even that competitive, was it? Well, it was. It's just they just kept on shooting themselves in the foot time and time again. A loss is a loss. And then this week, They go against their division foe, the division nemesis, the Dallas Cowboys. And they go blow for blow for blow. And they lose on a last second field goal in overtime in a high scoring affair. In a game that not a lot of people thought it was going to be 40-37. I mean, some people did give the G-Men a shot in hell. Well, a shot against the Dallas Cowboys. But nobody thought that Russell Wilson was going to turn back the clock and throw for almost 500 yards. 456, I believe. 3-4 touchdowns. Bombing. Six passes for a combined 200 and some odd yards. That's how much he was bombing. Malik Neighbors had 6 catches for, I believe, 175 yards. Wandale Robinson was doing his thing. Scatterbo was doing his thing. But yet, with all that being said, it was a loss. But you know how they lost? They lost on the most unfathomable. Like, you're bombing it all game, right? You've been taking care of the ball all game. It's almost like Russell's like, I'm tired of playing. I'm going to fling this ball up. And it would be one thing if you flung it up and it went out of bounds. No, you flung it up in the middle of the field where, as bad as Dallas defense had been, as bad as Dallas secondary had been, it was almost like a punt. In overtime? What are you doing? Like, I was so upset that I wanted to punch Russ in the face. I don't understand how he can go in that locker room. Albeit he played a game for the ages up until that point. I don't know how he can go in that locker room, look at everybody as a man. I don't care if she's fessing up like, yo, it's my bad. Yo, which girl? I gotta take that. Yeah, you're gonna take that, and you're gonna take this, and you're gonna take this, and you're gonna take this. And then I'm gonna rent you out to Diddy so you can take that, take that, take that. Like, that was crazy. This man right here was flinging it. But for him to throw that pass in overtime, it's unforgivable to me. But who am I? I'm a Jets fan. Dallas and New York, the Cowboys and the Giants traded scores on the final 9 second half possessions in regulation. 5 for the Cowboys, 4 for the Giants. A 13-10 lead at halftime for the Giants at the end of regulation became a 37-37 tie. It has a couple stats. The Giants have lost 9 straight in 16 of the last 17 against the Cowboys. Wow. And I thought the streak that my team had against the Patriots up until a couple years ago was crazy. Wow. 9 straight in Big D. 14 straight against Prescott, Dak Prescott as quarterback. And 8 straight games they have lost in the division, which is the NFC East. Not only that, for the 10th time in the last 13 seasons, picture that, for the 10th time in the last 13 seasons. So pretty much since their last Super Bowl berth in 2012, 10 times they have started out the season 0-2. And of course, none of those have birthed a playoff berth. Why would it? You had what? 2015 version, you know, the Boat Boys with Victor Cruz, Odell Beckham, Sterling Shepard, Trey Songz, that got embarrassed in Green Bay. And then you had the team last couple years ago, led by Daniel Jones and Brian Daboll's initial debut year as head coach, in which they won a wild card game against Kirk Cousins and then got embarrassed the week after in Philly. Russell Wilson, like I said, he threw for 450 yards and threw 2 magnificent bombs in the fourth quarter. The go-ahead pass in the fourth quarter alone, a 32-yarder on 4th and 4 to Wan'Dale Robinson, and another 48-yarder to Malik Neighbors as he split 2 defenders in a no big play defense. So, how do you look at this? From a non-fan perspective, you do have reason for optimism, but you also have a lot of reason for concern. 14 penalties. They were penalized 14 times for, I believe, 176 yards. That's unacceptable. On one drive, their offensive lineman, I forgot the dude's name, was called for 4 consecutive penalties on one drive. That's unacceptable. This vaunted defense, this vaunted pass rush that I've been hearing so much about during the offseason, couldn't get off the field when it mattered most. I'll give them benefit of the doubt. In overtime, they did force Dallas to punt twice. So technically, they did their job in crunch time. But at the same time, they gave up 37 points. They gave up 40 points. Just saying. Just saying. That can't happen. Abdul Carter, Kayvon Thibodeau, Brian Burns, Dexter Lawrence. Is it the scheme or is it the players? Or is it a combination of both? I don't know. I don't know. I do know this. When they come into MetLife next week against the also 0-2 Kansas City Chiefs, there's a high percentage chance that what they're going to hear is a lot of this. Yeah. You would think, if anything, if they really wanted to make a stand, that defensive front would have how we say a little inside competition and maybe like a little side wager, bank, like a tip jar, curse jar. And the first person that would solicit this in MetLife Stadium for, maybe a certain number on an opposing team. I think they have the digits 1 and 5, and they're probably being white and red. If they heard just maybe, their their chances would be incrementally better. Well, I'm kidding. Listen, gotta have jokes, right? Gotta have jokes. But in all seriousness, this is going to be a long football season for both New York Jets and New York Giants fans. And one thing I'll say is we got to keep hope alive. We got to keep hope alive. And if all else fails, you know, we blow it up. Blow it up. Yes. Yes. Smitty's Corner. Smitty's Corner. Some would say that my little 10-minute spiel, my 10-minute recap on the New York Giants would count as Smitty's Corner. But no. Smitty's Corner is a product of his request for 5 minutes. 5 minutes. That's all I asked. You mean to tell me the whole first half of the season, the Mets were playing great baseball? At one point, they were the number one team. They were the best team, and they had the best record in baseball. And you mean to tell me that the New York Mets can't get 5 minutes on your platform? Hence, Smitty's Corner. The New York Metropolitans snapped their longest losing streak in years when the polar bear Pete Alonso's home run, walk-off home run in the 10th inning to win the series finale against the Texas Rangers, but not only win the season finale, but to snap an 8-game winning streak. I mean, 8-game losing streak. Sure, I wish it was an 8-game winning streak. Be beautiful. Be beautiful. Pete Alonso had a 3-run home run and gave the Mets a 5-2 victory that snapped their 8-game losing streak, which is the longest losing streak in 7 years. This past Sunday afternoon, Nolan McClain, the rookie phenom, latest magnificent outing consisted of 6 shutout innings in which he allowed 5 hits with 7 strikeouts and 2 walks. He should have been allowed to stay in the game instead of being pulled by Carlos Mendoza to be exact, and putting in the inept bullpen, who promptly gave up 2 runs to lead to the game being tied and going into extra innings. Do you know that the right-hander's ERA dipped to 1.19 since being called up? Nolan McClain is our ace. Yes, I said it. It's our ace. Now, one thing that was very apropos today at Citi Field. Well, yesterday at Citi Field. On your screen right now is former manager of the New York Mets, Willie Randolph. And what I'm about to say To me, it has nothing to do with Willie Randolph because this organization deserves to give him all the kudos and needs to be indebted to him for what he did in his reign as New York Mets skipper. The way that he was cast aside by the previous ownership, the Wilpons, the coupons, however you want to call it, was disgusting. And he's a bigger man than I am because, well, he's a bigger man than I was because now I probably would have did the same thing. Meaning, he came back head held high, like, you know what? Y'all want me to be a part of the organization? Y'all want me to come on this alumni day? You know what? I'm going to do so. Bygones be bygones. Once again, class, something that Elijah Moore didn't have. The people in place that fire him, the people in place that embarrass him, the people in place that disrespected him are no longer in place. So he accepted the olive branch and he said, you know what? I'm going to come back. And as you can see on the picture, bigger smile abroad his face. Now, the reason I bring up Willie Randolph, unfortunately, is due to the next subject. I mean, what I'm going to talk about the Mets win. I mean, shoot, you know how many games they should have won that they lost? They should have won They should have won yesterday. You know, but unfortunately, Edwin Diaz had the one time to cough up blow a save. He blew it at the wrong time. I'm not gonna get on Edwin Diaz, but gotta call spade a spade. Then on Friday, you had the rookie blow up in the first 2 innings, and I mean, I feel bad for him. You know, I mean, how many games did we lose prior to that due to our inept bullpen or inept starting pitching? Mania, Peterson, Holmes didn't even give us representative outings. Couldn't even get us into the 5th inning a lot of times. So I'm not gonna put that on the rookie. Growing pains in the middle of a playoff chase against a team that's imploding from inside. I'm not gonna put that on the team. I mean, I'm not gonna put that on the rookie. But the imploding part. Oh, so apropos that you would have the 2017 an alumni day. Like, personally, what is there to celebrate about the 2017? I'm asking. Why are we celebrating them? Why are we celebrating the 2016? Did they get anything? Did they win anything? Did they get to the World Series? No. Why are we still trumpeting Carlos Beltran as some sort of hero? The hero of keeping his bat on his shoulders? You're bringing back bad memories. Back bad memories. Man. The 2007 New York Metropolitans that coughed up a 7-game lead with 17 games to play, that lost 12 of their last 17 to blow a division they had led for 140 days, were on hand this weekend, specifically Saturday, to witness the current collapse, the current Generation K. Not pitching ons, but the K is for collapse. Yeah, I know. Just work with me here. Albeit this collapse is more the slow, agonizing type. This one is more prolonged. Stat boy here, once again, got more stats. And Smitty, shoot, tell you the truth, if I look at the time, man, darn, Smitty's corner is gonna be a marathon today. Uh-oh. You're getting more than 5 minutes. Did you know that the Mets are 4-9 in the month of September this year? Did you also know that they are 22-31 since the All-Star break? How about this doozy? Did you know that they've lost almost 16 games in the standings since July. At one point, I believe we had at least a 4-game lead over the Phillies. Now we are 12 games behind the Phillies. The Phillies are pretty much wrapping up their playoff spot. Meanwhile, we're clinging on to barely life as a third wild card team. Now, some of these quotes that I'm going to read, courtesy of, I believe, the New York Post, if I'm not mistaken, are hilarious in hindsight to me. I'll start with this one. I cannot really pinpoint what exactly happened, said Carlos Beltran, who is now a special assistant to David Stearns. Go figure. You know, maybe the stink has rub off on him. Wish you can have it back. But now thinking about this team and what they're going through, I just hope they forget about the past and focus on these games left. Jose Reyes, another member of Generation K. They're going through some tough times right now. No shit, Sherlock. Really? State the obvious. But like I said, whatever happened the last game, just leave it there. Beltran continued. Just go for it. Don't limit yourself. Don't be timid. Just be aggressive. Be who you are. At the end of the day, you're in a position where you're fighting for a playoff opportunity. You know how many teams would sign up for that opportunity? Don't scoreboard watch. Carlos Delgado, another member of that memorable team, added, just one day at a time. One at bat at a time. Let's win today. So you know when they said these quotes, this is probably after, I believe, probably after the Saturday loss. But let's give them benefit of the doubt. Let's say this was before the Saturday loss. Oh yeah, great way to, charge up the troops. Paul LaDuca, former catcher of that 2006-2017, said this following quote. When you go through this type of stretch, you got to play the game a little bit different, said LaDuca. Adding the Mets should not be trying to hit the 600-foot homer. You got to move guys over, and you got to play base to base. Says the guy that's probably an undercover ICE agent. Remember all the rhetoric he was talking about? The Los Mets, he don't understand why there's such a divide in the locker room. He feels like an outsider. He was trying to make Flushing great again back then. And now he's talking about move guys over. Move guys over where? Move guys over the border? Is that what you're saying? Paul LaDuca? Just asking. So that leads us to this. As I bring up. Oh, guess what? Breaking news. The Atlanta Falcons are beating the Minnesota Vikings 22-6 at the 2-minute warning. Whoop-de-damn-do. I know my brother Low Fat Beats is probably happy. Don't get too happy. He ain't going nowhere. But now, we have a 6-game homestand starting Tuesday night. And this is where dreams are going to be made or dreams are going to be broken. We have 3 games against the San Diego Padres. And then we follow that up with 3 games, our last 3-game set at home against the Washington Nationals. We are currently back at number 3. We're a full game and a half up on the San Francisco Giants. We're full 2 games up on the Arizona Diamondbacks. We are full 2.5 games up on the Cincinnati Reds. Do I think we're going to make it through? Yeah, I think we're going to make it through. Listen, I talk all this crap. Yeah, we're going to make it through. We gon' make it. 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 Last but not least, I'll be touching on the WWE press conference this past Friday in Las Vegas, touting the location of WrestleMania 43, which will be held in the fabulous kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And I asked this question. I generally ask this question. Did WWE sell out? I know you're probably like, hold on, you're really asking that now? They've been sold out. No. I'm not talking about attendance wise. Oh, Mike, come on. We're not that dense. We know what you're talking about. We're talking about morally. Are they morally corrupt? Well, they've been morally corrupt. So, matter of fact, what makes this different? They've been dealing with Saudi Arabia for the last 7 years. Since 2018, under the Vince McMahon regime, under the Vince McMahon ownership, right? He's the one who started the connection, right? Now, TKO, a combination of Endeavor, WWE, UFC, they are truly in bed with the Saudis, especially for UFC. Now, why do I ask, did they sell out like it's something new? The question should be, do you care? And if you do care, how much do you care? Now, I'm going to say from my personal point of view, well, from my personal experience, when they first went over to Saudi Arabia, this is right after the journalist got kidnapped and tortured, kidnapped and tortured, allegedly, presumably, and there was a big backlash and embargoes and people are protesting and all this other stuff, right? Myself included, when it came to WWE. I was like, you know what? I'm not watching Blood Money 1, 2, 3, 4, or whatever, right? So every time they had the greatest Royal Rumble, Crown Jewel, whatever, King, Queen of the Ring, whenever they had this Saudi shows, I abstained for two reasons. One, out of some type of principle, and two, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm going to work, right? So that was number one, right? Then I'm not going to lie, after a while, I was like, fuck it. Let me see what they do. Let me see what these shows are. It comforted me that the shows that I decided to abstain on, I already knew they were like glorified house shows. Like nothing was really going to happen of substance. There was a lot of stupid old time dream matches or whatever, quote unquote, that the regime wanted. Like they wanted the Brothers of Destruction, Kane and the Undertaker, way well past their prime to go against DX, Shawn Michaels and Triple H. I didn't want to see that. I didn't want to see Triple H versus Randy Orton. I didn't want to. There was so many things I didn't want to see, nor did I care about. So I was like, all right, it's easy for me. Like, I'm not watching that. The Goldberg showcase, where pretty much he was invincible in Saudi Arabia. He lost to the Undertaker. Or did he beat the Undertaker? I think he lost to the Undertaker. He beat the Fiend. He lost to Roman Reigns. Did he beat Bobby Lashley? All I know is, shoot, that was like the Saudi Open for watching Saudi shows. Now, if the reason I'm probably going to be abstaining from watching these, at least live, is a bigger picture. The ESPN connection, like I told y'all, shoot, I'm about to invest in something, and I gotta really kind of reorganize where my cash goes when it comes to apps. Because there's like I really gotta find out a way. I gotta remind myself to cancel the New Japan World. I don't watch New Japan no more, but yet I'm still paying for it. $10 a month. Paying for a Patreon. Actually, two Patreons. Okay. How often do I really watch the Patreons? Not as often as you would think for spending money. I do it more out of support, which is another situation altogether. But regardless, I got every app under the sun that I'm paying for. I'm not paying for the ESPN app. I done went through that spiel numerous times. So that would be the reason why I probably would abstain from watching it live. Not saying I'm going to abstain from watching it. I mean, listen, the chief content officer's wife already said get a VPN. So it's probably the way I'm going to do it. So I'll watch it. I'll be in tune. And at this point in time, you can see everything on YouTube and clips. So why am I going to? Anyway, right? So more specifically, I'm going to talk about this press conference that they had this past Friday. Now, on your screen, you have representatives. Well, not representatives, but you have WWE superstars of all types, both young and old, from here and now, in the future, then, now, forever. In the background, you have Bianca Belair, Charlotte Flair, HBK, head of NXT, Undertaker, who I believe has a creative role in AAA, Liv Morgan, Stephanie Vaquer, Logan Paul, Seth Rollins, and Joe Tessitore, who is emceeing, right? Okay. Now we're going to go to this next picture. Paul Cocksucker Triple H Levesque and the Prince, Your Excellency. Notice the people in the background? They look like they was mesmerized. They look like they was. I mean, Liv just probably was high. Undertaker probably was drunk, and you can't really tell about HBK because he's cross-eyed. But here, don't it look like they're forced to stand at attention? Now, WWE Saudi Arabia WrestleMania announcement in Las Vegas, in which CCO Paul Triple H Levesque spoke alongside his dear friend, the Prince, Turkey Al-Sheikh, as well as WWE luminaries like The Undertaker, and this is courtesy of Yahoo Sports. They didn't reveal how much Saudi Arabia was paying for the privilege. The terms, this is me talking, the terms, His Excellency, the great kingdom of Saudi Arabia, are hilarious to me. The sense of all this superstar standing at the behest of those in power, looking like hostages, looking like they were in a trance. Taker, HBK, the whole nine. The only one, tell you the truth, that looked somewhat regular with Logan Paul, because he has his own dealings with the Saudis. So it's not like he's in awe. It's not like he knows how to move. Unfortunately, in the wrong direction, but he knows how to move. Plus, yeah, Logan Paul, in Logan Paul's mind, he's not an employee of WWE. He's in partnership with WWE. So it's a different mindset. Like, at the end of the day, he's like, look, I'll be all right. I was all right before I got there. I give y'all more than y'all give me. Now, it's said, or it's been reported, that Saudi Arabia already pays $50 million per show for events like Crown Jewel. Do you know that this would be the first WrestleMania that's held outside of the United States, going back to 1985? Has the WWE fully sold out to this Middle Eastern nation run by an autocratic monarchy? Have they, excuse me? I don't know. Now, once again, this is not going to be popular opinion, but it's my opinion. And but to tell you the truth, I believe it'd be more fact than fiction. Will TKO ever stand up or say no to the Saudis? No. Because it's all about the money. It's all about the money. Right or wrong, Vince McMahon, well, put his employees in peril by standing up for what he felt or what he believed, negotiating tactic or so forth with the Saudis. Vince McMahon, how about this? Do you believe how do you feel that Vince McMahon is feeling about this? I know the popular opinion is like, who gives a fuck about Vince McMahon? You know, that's what he get. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Listen, he hasn't been convicted of anything except for being a freak. One other thing. You know what? I'll say that for a later date. I'm not going to talk about that on my 100th episode. But like I said, Vince McMahon hasn't been convicted of anything. He had a little jump off. He was pawning her out, tricking her out, pimping her out, and told her come home to daddy. Because daddy giving you that bread. Then you went to open your fucking mouth. So now daddy got to snatch that bread from you. Friday night, ain't a damn thing funny. Bitch better get this money. Oh, you want to talk? Okay. How about this? Now you cut off, bitch. That's a reenactment. But do you think Vince McMahon would ever give the Saudis the legitimate WrestleMania? Think about that. His baby, no matter how much Vince McMahon is all about the money, do you think he would ever have given the Saudis WrestleMania, the actual brand? No, he would have tried to beat them in the head like he was beating them in the head before and saying, this is WrestleMania like. Oh, you went to Royal Rumble? Guess what? The greatest Royal Rumble. Guess what? Crown Jewel. It's bigger than WrestleMania. Trust me. But you would never gave them WrestleMania. This comes, what, week or two after Mark Shapiro had said that they were going to do everything they can, or pretty much they were not going to hesitate on growing the brand and pretty much stretching the limits of how much they can actually get as in money for ticket sales. That they were, in the past they were conservative. Well, Vince McMahon was conservative. He wanted to keep the price point at a certain part so families could enjoy the product. And Mark Shapiro was like, fuck them. About this money. Get in where you fit in. You can't. What's that skit on Chappelle Show? Listen, I'm itching. I smell broke niggas. That's literally what he's saying. Not the nigga part, but he's like, I smell broke. I'm allergic to broke. I'm allergic to cheap. Well, I'm allergic to poor quality. But neither here nor there. right then and there, you should have known the next shoe is going to drop. And that was, yeah, we're taking WrestleMania from y'all and we're putting it over there. Guess what? If you want to see the legitimate WrestleMania, you want to see the first ever WrestleMania outside the United States, you must go to the fabulous kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Yes, you must pay. You must pay to go over there, and you must pay price, big price, and hope you come back home in one piece. There will not be no drugs. There will not be no. There are a lot of things that you cannot do in Saudi Arabia that you can do over here, and vice versa. Or is it? Man. Saudi Arabia, and this is from Dave Meltzer in the Wrestling Observer. Saudi Arabia was pushing for a main event of The Rock against either Cody Rhodes or Roman Reigns for WrestleMania 43. Those in Saudi Arabia close to the General Entertainment Authority, headed by Al Sheikh, confirmed this week that the show is official, and they claim negotiations for Dwayne Johnson were advancing, and they believe the deal would be close to being finalized. The impression is that the final payment number for the show will be affected by whether or not they get The Rock in the main event. The idea is that the individual payoff for Johnson would be multiple times that of any pro wrestling for any event in history. You know how The Rock is about making history, and you know how The Rock is about making it bread. A Saudi Arabian source said, I can't share with you the exact number, but WWE asked for a higher number than 100 million, as the show will feature The Rock if the agreement is matched, if the agreement is reached, and will be packed with megastars as the General Entertainment Authority requested. Another name that has been talked about is Stone Cold Steve Austin, who would be 62 at the time of the show. At this point, Austin is yet to be confirmed, but from the Saudi Arabia side, what they've been told by WWE and or Steve Austin, probably just WWE before they even asked Steve, is that he wants to make sure he is healthy and would be physically ready to do a match. I don't see Steve Austin. I don't care how much money that they're offering. I don't see Stone Cold coming out of retirement again 2 years from now for a wrestling match. That's just me. Now, last but not least, to me, this is going to be a shit show. Or should I say, if they give the Prince and his minions what they want, do they realize there's really nobody left? Like, remember, they wanted the Ultimate Warrior, they wanted Yokozuna, not realizing they long deceased. Are we going supposed to look forward to seeing 62-year-old Taker versus 62-year-old Stone Cold in a rematch of 30 years ago, Highway to Hell? Okay, how about this? Something that's a little bit more possible. Are we supposed to look forward to Cody Rhodes versus The Rock, which would be actually 3 years later than it should have happened? If anything, you're going to have that match. Should have had that this past WrestleMania. So this, whatever the hell they did this past WrestleMania. Or should we look forward to Roman Reigns against The Rock? 6 years past the time that we should have had it. Should have had it. What? 2021, well, 2022, 2021, something in that area. Even the Cody match, 3 years too late. And by that time, I mean, Cody is damaged right now and diminished as is. Imagine how much damage they're going to do to Cody by that time. Plus, shoot, by that time, Cody might be like, you know what? I had my run. I'm good. Maybe he won. Who knows? But yeah. Leave your opinion in the comments. Did WWE sell out by agreeing to have WrestleMania 43 in Saudi Arabia? I'll be eagerly waiting your response in the comment section. Well, people, that brings us to the end of a special, well, matter of fact, not a special, but a monumentous episode 100 of the Salty Thoughts of Mike Steph podcast. I'd like to thank each and every one of y'all for making me in this here podcast the one y'all have chosen to view and the one y'all have chosen to listen to for over 100 episodes, official episodes. I'm probably at more like 150 with the sprinkle of salts, the lives, and all sorts of stuff. You know, look at my playlist on YouTube. I think it's up to 179. Anyway, either way, I truly do appreciate y'all for passing through, commenting, liking, sharing, subscribing, the whole nine. 100, first 100 down, first 250 down. Who knows how long this show is gonna go on? And that's not cryptic. It's just literally like, who knows how long this show is gonna go on? Am I gonna reach number 300? Perhaps. Am I gonna reach 500? Who knows? Shoot. We might not even reach another 500 days for all I know. Anyway. Speaking of Mia Benson, news has come out over the last couple of weeks that Mia Benson has been strongly thinking about dropping out of the New York City mayoral election that's coming up this October. Well, this November. With other candidates such as Andrew Cuomo, Curtis Lewa, and Zohan Mandani in the race, it's becoming more and more apparent that Adams has no chance. Dun, dun, dun. No chance in heck. No chance. Dun, 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 dun. No chance in heck. At repeating as your New York City mayor. So he's, looking at his options. That would be something that we will be diving deep in on the Salty Thoughts of Mike Steph around election time. Especially if that mother effer actually, after 4 years, like, you know what, I'm gone. I'm in my listen, at the end of the day, Adams is in his 60s. He's been a councilman. Well, matter of fact, he's been a congressman, he's been borough president, and he's been mayor. And he's gotten whatever he's gotten underneath the table. Why is he going to put himself in harm's way again? It probably would be in his best interest to get out while the getting is good. He got pardoned before, more or less. He doesn't need to stay there, so he has to ask for another pardon again. You know how much in debt he probably is, and I'm not even talking about financially for him to get for Trump to get them to take the dogs off. Yeah, I think he got bigger fish to fry than being mayor of the city. Yeah, so please check out my brothers from Gimmick Infringement, Winchester and McDowell, each and every late Sunday night, early Monday morning on the YouTube channel of the 19 Media Group for Gimmick Infringement. Yes, Gimmick Infringement drops each and every late Sunday night, early Monday morning on the 19 Media Group YouTube channel, chronicling the past week's news in wrestling, pop culture, and their individual lives. Yes. And please go on GIPod19.com for all the latest articles that Winchester and McDowell have put out. Some strong emotional articles on the everyday machinations in your educators' lives behind the scenes, and also what happens when a neighborhood stalwart passes away, will that legacy remain or will that legacy dry up? Those are just two of the articles that are currently on GIPod19.com. Yes, or gimmickinfringement.com. Matter of fact, just watch Gimmick Infringement and they'll let you know everything. Also, please check out the young OG himself, Desmond Powell, in Hip to the Games. H2DG, yes, Hip to the Games drops each and every other Friday afternoon on the 19 Media Group YouTube channel. Yes. The latest episode, he was breaking down both conferences and giving records. Well, pretty much the playoffs. Matter of fact, the standings of both conferences, the Eastern and the Western, and of course my New York Knickerbockers reign supreme in his preview, NBA 2025-2026 preview. Please check out the young OG, Desmond Powell, for Hip to the Games. And last but not least, please check me out, along with my brother, the Mojo King, on Hidden Gems Football. Yes, we're back. We're better than ever. Season 4. Please check us out each and every Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday on the YouTube channel of the 19 Media Group and all streaming platforms wherever podcasts are available, where we break down survival pool picks, the primetime games of the week, and maybe some hidden gems to try to put some real gems, some real coin in your pocket. Yes, Hidden Gems Football, the Mojo King, Mike Steph, each and every Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday on your streaming platform of choice and on the YouTube channel of the 19 Media Group. And not to pop my collar, even though Atlanta did kind of just F me up, I am 5-1 currently against the spread early this season on HGF. That's all I will say. I will not talk about my partner when he's not here. You can tune in to Hidden Gems Football, where I will put him on full blast, but at least he'll have a chance to rebut. Yes. So it's been a great one. It's been a great one. What kind of 100th episode would this be if I didn't have something that just didn't seem right? Something that didn't violate rules of the group chat. Well, here's one such thing in which it was shared in the group chat about this nasty ass broad in the city of Gotham in broad daylight, copping a squat, and well, you'll be the judge.
I just did, and I pissed. Oh, you want to give me some? Bro, why you trying to be funny?
Middle of the day, not giving a fuck. Not even that. That means she don't got no pants. Matter of fact, let's look at this. That means she don't got no underwear on, right? Because I didn't see her pull anything up, pull anything to the side. She just copped a squat like a dog in heat and took a piss in the middle, in front of a bus that's idling, and now she's gonna get on that said bus with her pissy ass hands. I swear, I'm so glad. I'm so glad. I just
Too big, so I can't see you no more. You keep making promises, trying to make me slip, but the first 6 inches is only the tip. If you put the whole thing in, I'd have a heart attack. You're the only one who's taller, lying on their back.
He lied. Y'all niggas worship him.
No. I didn't lie about shit. Whatever she wanted to talk about, that was totally on her. Was she telling the truth? Was she not? I don't know. But I will leave you on this note. I will see y'all next week. I know I said it. I know I said that thing about, I'm gonna be dropping on Tuesday afternoons and everything and all that. Yeah. But it's football season. What the fuck am I dropping Tuesday afternoon for? Anything I'm talking about is gonna be football related, right? It's gonna be about my New York Jets, right? The only time I'm gonna really drop on a Tuesday is if the Jets have a Monday night football game. So, against my better judgment, I will be continuing to drop late Sunday night, early Monday morning, and sometimes more close to Monday morning than late Sunday night, because yours truly gotta get on the OT train. You know why? Because sometimes you gotta be. I'd rather be a little bitch with the bat than a nigga getting his head cracked.
Made to play ball, but that wasn't its purpose. Nuh-uh. In that moment, in little bitch's hands, it was there to break this nigga's head open.